Yeah, it'll be another video about Big Brother, but this time focus more on Big Brother Canada. But I'd be remiss if I didn't harken back to the last Big Brother USA, where they had their first black winner in 23 years. And this was as a direct result of all six blacks coming together and forming an alliance called the Cookout. And this has caught the attention of Arissa Cox, who's the host of Big Brother Canada, who's also black or half black or whatever. And they asked her in an interview, what did she think of it? And she praised the Cookout, saying, and I quote, I think all alliances are fascinating for different reasons. The Cookout in the US did something that hadn't been done before, and frankly needed to be done, in her opinion. These seasons are like a moment in time where I feel like the same factors can never be replicated, but the same strategy can. Anyways, I digress. But I don't think anyone can take away the value of not just the strategy that was employed to get there, but that they did it for a reason other than just to win. End of quote. Now, I could see her applauding this, saying it needed to be done. Well, yeah, if you're black and you've always wanted a black winner, then I guess it needed to be done. But that's, I guess, beside the point. Um, and yes, I as well as Arissa Cox do applaud the Cookout, but for different reasons. Now, I applaud them because they employed a strategy that worked, and they were very disciplined, and they had a plan, and they executed this plan to perfection. And for that, I got to tip my hat to them. That's I got to give credit where credit's due. There's no two ways about it. And but when Arissa Cox says, "Well, no two seasons are alike. This could never be replicated." Well, sure, it could be replicated. Like any strategy can be replicated. And it was very, and I agree with her that this was very valuable. What they did, but again for different reasons. I think this was a very valuable lesson for uh, for white players, both like for future white players of Big Brother. And part of the reason why the Cookout were so successful is because the white players were asleep at the switch. They didn't see what was happening until it was too late. And I guess they didn't want to believe what was happening, or they justified it by saying, "Oh well, this goes against our chances of winning, but hey, at least we'll be part of history." Pretty lame, hey? Forsake a once in a lifetime chance at a relatively easy $750,000. Oh, but at least you're part of history. Okay, well, that's dumb, but whatever. But in defense, the only defense really that I could come up with for the white players last summer is that what the Cookout did had never been done before. In spite of this BS narrative that, oh, well, white alliances have been doing this all along. Well, bullshit. No, no, they haven't. No, this was the first time this had ever been done. So you could maybe understand that, all right, this kind of caught the white players off guard. They didn't see this coming. Although they should have known by week 4 what they were doing when Whitney was evicted. They should have figured it out then and there and gathered together to try to do something about it. But they didn't. But then again, like I said, it had never been done before. So if you want to excuse them, you can maybe make that excuse a rationalization. But the same cannot be said for the white players this year on Big Brother Canada Season 10, because they had the opportunity to watch the cookout in action. They had the opportunity to see what they did and to learn from it. Now, have they learned from it? Doesn't seem like it, especially after this week, where Kyle had one of the worst HOH reigns that I've ever seen. Like, he couldn't have botched it any worse if he had tried. And one of his biggest mistakes is he nominated Steph for eviction. And Steph, if you don't know, is like an attractive young white woman who's closely aligned, whose best friend is the only other attractive young straight white woman, JC Lynn, who's beautiful, actually downright gorgeous. But now, thanks to Kyle's botched HOH, they probably don't have a hope in hell of winning this thing. And you can thank Kyle for that, because the first woman who was voted out, this Melina is her name, and I believe she's Filipino, although or some type of brown Hispanic. I'm not really sure, but she's not white. And she said to Arissa Cox, and I quote, these are her words, not mine, that she really hoped that there would be a BIPOC woman winning this season. End of quote. And coming from her, well, it's not a surprise. But you can bet that Melina is not the only black or brown person on that cast that thinks the exact same thing. In fact, they probably all have that same line of thinking. So therefore, if the white players are smart, they'll stick together, not announce that they're sticking together, of course, but stick together and just not nominate white players for eviction. Just makes sense, because that would increase their chances of winning at the end. Oh, but they didn't do that. Instead, Kyle nominates Steph and then targets more popular uh, brown people, uh, specifically Moose and Josh. And guess what? He nominates Josh, thinking that, oh wow, he's a strong player. They'll vote him up because he's easier to get out later on. Well, no, sorry, no, it doesn't work that way. No, Josh is a brown gay man who is very popular, and being brown and gay, these other brown people, black and brown people, can relate to him more than Steph. So not to anyone's surprise, Steph got voted out. What, 10-2, 9-2, or whatever it was, which kind of caught Kyle off guard, but it shouldn't have. But it was just frustrating for me that Kyle didn't learn his lesson from the valuable lesson that the cookout from the season before had provided for him, and that this BS of being politically correct uh, isn't going to work if you're a white player.